Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationships, and it's by user Throwaway and a lot of numbers. My boyfriend, 25 male, and I, 25 female of 5 years. Near engagement, but want to help communicating concerns about his very traditional parents, 50s male and female. I met my boyfriend in college and we were an instant hit, head over heels, and we still feel that way about each other now. We are compatible in many ways, but we have a few major differences. One, our pasts couldn't be more different. I was born to an underaged mother without a father in the picture for a very long time. His parents planned him and are still married. I think this matters only because it causes us to have different reactions to problems, as in point number 3. 2. I am an atheist, he is Christian. We disagree about some things, but we are working on compromises when it comes to life decisions, like a pastor to officiate, but a location of my choosing possibly. We don't disrespect each other's beliefs and are comfortable with him continuing his Sunday church outings while I stay home doing my own thing, for example. And 3, we have different ways of dealing with problems. I am assertive and like to fix issues as they come, and my boyfriend tries to appease everybody and tries to find a middle ground. Some problems stems from this issue in terms of not finding a middle ground with me. For our past issues, here are the major ones. 1. I graduated college somewhat on time, he still is not finished. He did not want to try to find a full-time job until he was done with school, and he did not want to move out with me until he was financially ready. This didn't bother me so much until I started feeling like he would never finish school, which is a feeling that started 2 years ago. 2. His parents seem to have a lot of say in our relationship. When we first started to date, we hung out every day, but after a couple of weeks of that, his parents told him he shouldn't see me as often. As a result, during the first 3 or so years we dated, we could only see each other at maximum of 2 times a week. At the time, the reason was so he could focus on school, which I could agree with. But after he got academic expulsion or whatever and transferred to a different local school, it felt like our social sacrifice was not amounting to very much. And 3, his parents are very traditional people. No sex before marriage, no living together before marriage, etc. About 2 years ago, they found out we were having sex. He lied and said it was only for 6 months, but we have, in fact, been at it for much, much longer. After finding out, they demonized me for a long time and said a lot of hurtful things about me. I had always thought they didn't like me, but I did my best to stay cordial and polite. My boyfriend would have to listen to 2 hours of vitriol before he could come to visit me. I didn't really do anything more than I already had. I came over when invited, I was polite, continued to purchase gifts for Christmas and birthdays, etc. I basically acted like I didn't know it happened. Very recently, they seem to finally be 100% over it. I have come to really love his parents. While his dad is kind of a standoffish person, he is very kind. His mother has warmed up to me greatly, and we are learning we have many things in common despite my irreligiousness, which they do know about as well. I did confront my boyfriend a couple of months ago and told him for the coming year that I needed things to get moving. My lease will be up by the end of summer, and I wanted to know if he would be moving in with me. I asked him to give me an answer by early summer so we could start budgeting and planning. It may also sound stupid, but I actually make a really nice wage at work. My boyfriend currently works part-time and I feel like I could support him. A part of why I am willing to do this is so that we can spend more time together. If it's their rules under their roof, then obviously he just needs to get out. My boyfriend agreed to think about it. Just a while ago, he told me he was going to put school on hold, get a full-time job, and save up so he could move out, possibly in general. He spoke with his mother about moving out with me, and she expressed she wasn't comfortable with the idea of pre-marriage. My boyfriend is considering meeting her halfway and engaging me so we can move in together, but he doesn't know how she will feel about that either. Right now, I am not sure how to feel about that. On the one hand, I am glad things are finally moving along. I didn't say much about it, but my boyfriend and I get along really well. Even when we have difficult discussions about these topics, we manage to find some middle ground. Albeit, I make more concessions than he has to for the sake of his relationship with his parents. I am one of those people that want to live together prior to marriage, mostly to make sure we are true as compatible as we hope to be. I feel that getting engaged now would be great, but I don't know if I'm happy with the added why of us getting engaged soon. I don't like the idea, I guess, of getting engaged to try to meet his mom halfway. I love the woman, and I honestly think she would throw a crap fest after all of this, but my boyfriend is adamant about appeasing his parents. This is definitely something I feel I have never been able to properly communicate. I understand being the second priority to his family for the first few years, but I think I am in a place now where I expect my needs and wants to be his first priority after himself. I feel like I'm always expected to go fully along with his parents' wishes and never meet him halfway. A small recent example would be that his mom suggested we do marriage counseling, which sounds like a great idea after I did some research about it. However, he seems to think she wants us to only seek it from the church they attend, whereas I would be more comfortable seeking it from a therapist I would be comfortable with too, given my atheistness. I think meeting her halfway would be to do marriage counseling in the first place, but he seems to think she will get pissed at him. I am very grateful that things are moving along, but I am worried we will always have to bow to his parents' will even after we are married. I don't know how to really talk to him about this without seeming very defensive or dismissive of his parents' wishes. I agree with many of their points, but I would like to find a compromise that favors us both rather than me having to always play by their book. OP, I absolutely agree with you. The relationship that you guys have should only be the two of you, and then anybody who is invited to give their opinion, sure, they can give their opinion as well, but like I said, only if it's warranted or asked for. Now, sure, there are some couples out there that really treasure and want their parents to keep, having an opinion in their life because, that's what they feel comfortable with. But in this case, you don't, so your boyfriend should respect that as well. The thing is, you have a legitimate concern and you need to address it with your boyfriend. Because in my opinion, this is one of those make it or break it kind of ideals. If he still wants his parents to have a say in his life and you don't, well, even though you have a beautiful relationship, it might not work out. I think you owe it to yourself, to him, and to your relationship to tell him how you are feeling and that you don't want his parents to intrude into your relationship anymore. And what do you guys think OP should do in this situation? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Deleted says, he's 25 years old and still hasn't cut the apron strings? I can't see a way you're going to get what you want here. He likes it under the thumb, and if you do get him from under his parents, it'll be to run under yours. He's never going to want independence. He's never going to be the self-sufficient self-starter you're looking for him to be. And OP responds, while it certainly seems that way, the real problem is his idea of doing things the right way, which is how his parents did things. They both graduated, then married, then had kids. It worked for them, it should work for him, right? He has, for the past year, told me he is tired of not being financially independent, but that he is worried they will cut him off in terms of school money. His parents are wealthy, so he is worried about getting into debt to finish school. Last we spoke, he is putting school on hold against his parents' wishes. He has said, I am tired of just schooling part-time. I want to just work now. I wish I could illustrate him better because he has made a lot of strides towards independence. It's just been at a snail's pace compared to what I did. Goat is my co-pilot says, a few thoughts. I think it would be a bad idea for you two to live together when he is only working part-time. He seems to have stalled out in the last few years regarding school and being self-sustaining. I actually think it is better for people to live on their own before joining a household as a couple. You find out quite a few things about yourself and who you are when you live on your own. You already know that, but he does not. Next, you say you are worried that you will be bowing to his parents' will even after you are married. I think that is a real possibility unless your boyfriend learns to stand on his own feet and be his own person. He clearly still needs his parents' approval, so will you be cool with that when he asks them if it is okay for you two to plan a family and raise children? I think your boyfriend is frankly not quite an adult yet, and you have this idea you can make him into one, and I think you are overly optimistic about this. And OP responds, I agree with you that living together would not be the best situation. My thoughts come from just wanting to be physically closer. In the 5 languages, I am the spend time together one. But I was also hoping to provide him with an environment away from his parents. He has recently started to realize this isn't totally normal behavior from his family, and I am doing my best to be sensitive to that. I made a thread before, I can't find it, about this situation like 2 years ago, and a lot of people gave me some insight that his highly conservative and controlling family, which they are, though they seem to be letting go, has caused him to believe all this is normal and accepted. By himself, he is opening his eyes, and I think moving out, even just by himself, would really help him out. Basket Case Sensitive says, seems like he's being dismissive and not you. He's not standing up for you to his parents. If he's still living with them, it doesn't sound like y'all are near engagement at all. And OP responds, this is where some disconnect is. His best friend lived with his parents until he got married too. Some people do that and choose not to live together before marriage, and I think that's normal. I just don't envision living together only after we marry. Additional information from OP's comments. I think he just needs time away from his family. It's just all really odd to me, and I'm doing my best to be sensitive to it. When we hang out, it's amazing and we get along swimmingly. I do think it is worth my time to wait if he is willing to continue to work on himself as he has been for the past year. I just hope now that his family likes me, things won't be as hard as he is seemingly making it now. Also, I know that I could have broken up with him a long time ago due to his parents' strictness, but I love the good things about him enough to outweigh this crazy stuff. My boyfriend made the suggestion of seeing 2 different counselors. My worry is that right now I am in graduate school. I will be done in about 18 months, but I am taking a full class load alongside my full-time job and some extra professional activities. Maybe we can see a regular therapist now, since I think we should hammer out a lot of these issues pre-engagement. Then we can see the religious one once I'm done with school and we are already engaged. I think that should be a good deal, and it would be easier for me, time-wise. We are hoping to marry in 2 years, so I think it should be doable. Now, a lot of people are quick to judge and say my boyfriend is like a man-child, but I think there are years of conditioning at work here. For one reason or another, he can't just constantly stand up to them right now for financial reasons. He's been doing things their way for a long time, and he is only now seeing he can't keep putting his life on hold to do things their way. I hope moving out, in general, is helpful to him, and it helps him really see how amazing being able to do whatever the hell you want when you want is so liberating. I mean, this runs deep. As much as he is limited in seeing me, his friends have it so much worse. They, his parents, still hate 80% of them, so he seems to only see them once every 2 weeks for guy stuff night. I feel a bit, and maybe I'm wrong, that my boyfriend's mother is the biggest culprit in manipulating him. My boyfriend's mother is a stay-at-home mom who still has not been able to find work these past 4 years since she started trying. She also constantly complains about how her husband won't help her with chores or listen to her, and I think she has turned my boyfriend into a kind of surrogate husband. If we hang out more and more, his mother would end up alone more often. I don't think they understand how unhealthy this is, but I don't think this is a problem I can tackle without my boyfriend leaving his parents' house first. And finally, for those of you asking, yes, we have talked about the children situation. I told them I would be okay with them going to church with him most of the time, something we would definitely talk about during engagement and marriage counseling. And if they ended up being Christian too, I would be okay with it. Obviously, he understands I want my children to have a choice and not feel pressured into being Christian. He agrees. Okay, well, in my opinion, the community did raise some pretty good points, and OP was very good at clearing those up, plus some additional context. So how about we now move on to the update to see how this story ends. I want to first thank everyone for commenting on my first thread. I wasn't sure if anyone who read was interested in an update, but here it is. I've spoken to my significant other about his parents and how I feel they are a part of the relationship. We both agree that it basically sucks, and he revealed to me a couple of things. Namely, that when he speaks with me, everything we both want seems very possible. But when he speaks to his parents, they make him feel like he will crash and burn. We talked about this and he told me that he will definitely move out even if it has to be on his own. I am fine with this and I am mostly worried about him being able to learn how to adult. I also compromised with him about marriage counseling as suggested, and we are going to do regular marriage counseling this year, then church marriage counseling once we are engaged for real. We are waiting mostly because I have a full-time class load of graduate classes. This was a couple of days ago. Something I didn't include in my last post is that around summer last year, we told his parents we were planning to take a trip somewhere in winter. We made it clear it was an overnight trip, and they seemed okay with that despite how much they didn't like us having sex. This is a part of the reason why I thought they were getting better, including that they invited me on a vacation with them in December where I thought we all got along really well and learned that we aren't really very different. Then last night, around midnight no less, 5 days before we are supposed to leave for the trip we planned, his parents approached him and said that they didn't want him to do the overnight portion. Admittedly, this place is only an hour away, but there is an event going on we both want to be a part of for 2 days. His mom gave him some spiel about how he is cherry-picking the best parts of adult life without doing everything else, and also said it's a slippery slope if they let me spend the night in the hotel. They made it clear they wanted him to do college, then engagement, then marriage, and then living together and have sex. When I spoke to my significant other, he was absolutely pissed when he told me, but again, he feels powerless. He is now adamant about moving out as soon as it is financially reasonable. We spoke about the cost of living, the minimum amount he needs to earn to live in a nice area. I am lucky, my area is beautiful, cheap, and safe. And the best part is he has no debt. No car payments on his car in his name, and he has decided to believe me over his parents once he found out how possible it all really is. I am feeling optimistic now, but I am worried about the potential damage this will cause between my significant other and its family. I thought they were awesome people, but are just really controlling, and this last minute thing is really rude. I don't know, but it sends up a red flag about them. Seeing the different ways they treat their son versus his sister, who has done everything they threatened to kick him out for, makes me worried too. I don't know what I can do for my significant other than support him in his choices and offer advice when it comes to moving out. I will suggest creating boundaries once he is out of their house. Our strategy right now is to lay low until my boyfriend can live on his own. That way, they stop holding his financial dependence on them over his head. I think this is the right call because now that I understand these are real threats and not inferences on his part, I think it's best to play it safe. He has stood up to his parents before, but they are like a relentless force. In my previous thread, I mentioned he couldn't even come to visit me without hearing a 2+ hour lecture about how he is ruining his life by being with me and having premarital sex. It was very emotionally draining for him, but he argued back with them and they conceded that he wasn't going to break up with me. They are digging in their claws, I guess, to keep him. This behavior reminds me a bit of my grandma, who is extremely narcissistic, and I'm surprised I hadn't really picked up on it before. They just seemed really nice, other than the blow-up they had a couple of summers ago. The fact we now see is that his parents are crazy controlling and will kick him out. Since he has been doing it their way, he only has about $1,000 in savings, which is nothing. And I don't think throwing away a rent-free place to gather bigger, better savings just for one night makes any sense though. So that's it. Thanks again for all your support. Well, OP, the good thing is that your boyfriend is out of the fog and that you guys have a strategy and a plan in place to get him out of there. So all the best to the both of you in the future and executing that plan and strategy. Take care and thank you for sharing. Now, let's move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliant and it's by user Welcome and All. I have to eat during assigned time periods, so I will. My job pays a total of $35 per day for food while traveling, divided into breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The rules also say that each meal needs to be bought within a certain time period of 2 hours. You must eat breakfast between 8 and 10 a.m., lunch between 12 and 2 p.m., and dinner between 5 and 7 p.m. They didn't used to be too stringent about this because the person who approved travel expenses thought it was stupid. Then they replaced her. Because they would only approve a very cheap flight, I had to leave my home at 3 a.m. I stopped to grab a coffee and a bagel at about 5 a.m. and the new person rejected it and said I could only buy and eat food within a meal period. Well, fine. I used to work straight through lunch because I have to work with people from lots of time zones. This was sometimes necessary. Now I leave or reject calls because I am in my lunch period and I must go lest I miss it. No working late either. I leave at 5 p.m. because I can't miss my dinner period. I also make sure I spend all $35. I must be healthy and not skip meals. Coincidentally, hungry homeless people also enjoy my meal periods. Oh man, it just sucks when common sense just packs up and jumps out the window, doesn't it? Thank you for sharing, OP. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.